The Joe Rogan Experience.
Here's a question: the war in Europe, all the countries involved.
Yeah.
What was the size of the landscape we're looking at in like relationship to the United States? When you look at France and Germany and England, like what is that? Like,
well, it wasn't just France,
Poland.
Germany, and
Oh,
England
yeah,
either,
but I'm
right?
talking
It was
about all of
Russia.
those.
It was Russia.
Yeah, sure.
Russia, I think, is 5 time zones, right?
Russia's giant.
Yeah.
Russia's a different animal, right?
Yeah.
Because Russia is, that's Asia.
Yeah, and Russia would just rely on old General Winter.
But
as
European
Buchholz would say.
aspect of it, the European part of World War I and II. I wonder how much. What I was thinking is like it's almost like having a war inside America, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it's really close.
I think if you look at if you take France, Spain, Italy, Germany, Poland, all those areas,
they fit in Rhode Island.
Hungary, Austria, yeah, all those, Bulgaria, Romania, Yugoslavia.
Put those in
back then.
Florida. We'll stuff those in Florida.
How big is that area? The size.
I'm on the. Give me 1
He's
minute.
got too many. That's a
yeah.
lot of googling.
I found a thing that like World War I map, 40 maps that explain World War I. So
Well, World War One's a different thing too. Yeah.
Oh,
World
yeah.
War One was.
that's what you're talking about, right? Though?
Well, one
Well,
and
World War
two.
II.
I want to.
Well, two is the whole world.
Yeah, two is everything, right?
But so
Two
was
is
World War
Japan,
One. Remember,
too.
World War One, the Ottoman Empire was crumbling, right? So Turkey's empire was crumbling. So Turkey got the Middle East involved. The British were involved in the Middle East. They were fighting the Turks. That whole area became a theater for war.
Dude, I'm on my third Wild West book in the last couple weeks.
Really?
Yeah. About the history of the Wild West. Let me tell you this one. It's a Blood and Thunder. Yeah. Blood and Thunder, an epic tale of the American West. It's about Kit Carson and the Mountain Men.
Yeah.
Bro.
Rough dudes.
Bro.
Men.
Just the wars with all the various tribes and the chaos and the way they would kill people. Oh my God, it's so crazy.
The Native Americans?
Oh yeah, dude!
brutal.
One of these stories that I was reading, I don't think it was this one. It wasn't the Kit Carson one. It was the one on General Custer. General Custer was the last one, which was Son of the Morning Star. That was the last one that I was reading. Bro,
Yeah.
there's a Native American guy wants to fuck this other guy's wife, so he tries to get him. He can't get him. Eventually, he finds him one day, kills him, eats his heart, cooks his heart, comes back and tells everybody, then marries the lady.
Well, you got to eat a man's heart because you impose his will on him.
Imagine
It's one
you're
thing to
married.
choke a guy
married,
out.
you're a woman. You're
Yeah.
married to a guy, and this other dude wants to fuck you. He kills your husband and eats his heart.
Yeah.
And then you say, "Get in this teepee, big boy."
That's pretty fucking gangster.
That's pretty fucking.
Because the
gangster.
guy loved you, and I'm going to eat his heart. I'm going to eat his love for you.
He
So
cut 2 fingers off of his hand because he couldn't get to her, and he loved her so much.
Damn.
And he was angry that he couldn't kill her.
Did he
man.
win her over?
Well, he must have won her over. He cut 2 fingers off his hand before he got to her.
Damn.
And then found the guy after he cut 2 fingers off his hand.
Yeah.
Killed the guy.
Yeah.
Ate his fucking heart.
Sure.
Cooked it. Came back, told everybody. Like ate most
Yeah.
of the heart.
Yeah, that's a stalker. That's a
Oh, yeah.
stage 5 stalker. Is that or does
that's
that go beyond?
past? That's past.
I'm going to eat his heart.
Ate his heart. You remember like when we used to have those terrorism colors? Like today's
Yeah, yeah.
yellow. No worries.
Yeah.
Remember it was a flag?
Yeah, that's a fact.
This is it? The battlefronts of
1917.
Europe?
Yeah, this was from 1917, and a paper
Yeah.
in London made this. This is explaining
Interesting.
the battle area, battle zones.
Yeah.
So all of it fit in the center of the country.
Right, and they compared it even.
Yeah. God
Miles.
damn, dude. Just imagine if that shit was going on in the center of the country. If Montana was at war with Wyoming and Colorado.
It was all trench warfare too.
Oh, my
See,
God.
World War is really interesting because there are some parallels now. World War One. If you look at World War One, it was a time when, first of all, Europe hadn't been to war for 100 years. So when people went into war in World War One, they went in, every young man volunteered, and even women volunteered to be nurses and to cook. And all. So it was this, they were singing songs, and they were going to be gone for 2 weeks, and it was going to be really exciting, and it was romantic. And no one, including the soldiers, really understood the technology, like machine guns and that kind of technology and mustard gas, and they didn't know. They were still fighting the way they had been fighting for millennia, which was on horseback, feathers in their helmets, and charging with great bravery. And so what happened was they would charge, and the other side would open up with machine guns and artillery, and then ultimately poison gas. And so the numbers are too staggering to even imagine, but like for 800 yards to try to capture that much land or whatever, they lost something like 300,000 men in a day. I mean, that's what was going on. They were just getting mowed down.
That many?
Oh, dude, the numbers are crazy. The Battle of the Somme, I can't remember what it was. It was beyond, like, the number of men that were lost per foot. I remember I had to ask 3 times because I couldn't believe it. And because they were just, so your arrogant commanders would blow a whistle. Sometimes they would kick a soccer ball, and you would follow the soccer ball over the ditch and run
as they were shooting at you.
And if you didn't, you'd be tried for cowardice. Sometimes you'd be shot by your commanding officer in the back of your head. Because remember, a lot of these armies were conscripted. They were brought in against their will from, this was the time of imperialism when the country that was bigger and stronger, the Austro-Hungarian Empire, Austria itself, would come in and say, you belong to us now. There were these secret alliances that would happen. And so that battle was so insane, and it was a true meat grinder. It was a true meat grinder. And then you'd have no man's land, right? So you'd have no man's land, and that was the area where they would come in. They had to cross to kill, and you'd hear them dying and groaning, but nobody could get to them. It was the worst, man. It was the worst. And in those trenches, the body parts and everything, and then people would have to go to the bathroom there, and then the rain would come. You were living in a gutter. It was beyond what people can imagine. It was beyond. It was the most horrific thing. And the only thing that was worse was something called World War II, which is essentially a continuation of that first European Civil War. And I don't know, man. It's beyond what we can. We're so fucking
Less
lucky
than
we don't
100
live in a
years
time
ago.
like that. Yes, sir.
Less than 100 years
Yes,
ago.
sir. 70 years ago.
Inside of one person's lifetime.
Yeah.
There
1945
was
is when.
Ari's dad is a Holocaust survivor.
Yep. There you go.
Ari Shafir's dad.
Yeah.
Is a fucking Holocaust survivor.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's how close it is.
And that all came from this
Look at
idea
that.
back then that you could perfect society and perfect human beings.
6-inch howitzer.
Yeah.
That's a mountain
human beings,
howitzer.
we're this is where the idea of where ideas can be so dangerous. This idea that human beings are a blank slate and that you can make them anything you want. You can re-educate them in a camp and they'll be what you want. This is the history of Europe, and those ideas lost ground. That's why the individual, it's so fucking important for the individual to take precedence over the state.
This is also why it's so important for people to be able to express themselves.
That's what I mean.
And for people to,
But fidelity to the state in a fascist society in communist Russia, fidelity to the state, the collective, must be superior to the individual. The individual, you're a tiny leaf on a tree. If you have a society like that, somebody's going to run that. Somebody's going to set that doctrine, and they will justify killing 20, 30 million people the way
and
Stalin
they'll say
did.
that they're doing it for the country.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know,
there's so many patterns like that that just repeat themselves over and over again with human beings in power.
You get a lot. Hitler, by many accounts, seemed to genuinely enjoy World War I. He enjoyed it. And then he got blinded by mustard gas, and he couldn't believe Germany surrendered. He couldn't believe it. And a German physician, there's one record of the German physician characterizing Hitler as follows. Again, this is from Buchholz's lectures. It said, he goes, this person is not fit to command humans and is dangerously psychotic. And because of a lot of crazy reasons, he was able to join the Nazi. He actually started as a minder for the German army.
What's a minder?
So a guy who spied on subversive groups.
Oh, like a rat.
Yeah, revolutionary groups. That's how he came across the Nationalist Socialist
was a
Party, the
narc.
National Socialist Party. Yeah, the Nazis. And but kind of went, you know what?
I like what these guys are saying.
Yeah.
So he joined.
Yes. I want fucking war.